Welcome to the Annotation Video Workshop. So today we're going to be talking about how to keep a dialectic journal whenever we read documents, articles, and other pieces of literature in class. Now, before I get started, the point of this is to help you make sense of what you read and to give you a resource for you to reference back whenever you're producing your final product. So this is all to benefit you. So as we move forward and you watch this video, think about ways that you can adapt this that will make sense to you and will work best for you, because there's no point in keeping annotations and keeping dialectic journals like this if you're not going to reference it again and again and again. It's to benefit you. So in keeping this dialectic journal, it's a really simple example, right? So you can just split the page into two columns, title one side from the text and the other side from your mind. And I would advise putting the title of whatever text you're looking at the top, just to keep things organized for your records. So on the left side, obviously, we're going to be talking about things that come from the text that we're reading. So this can be things like a passage, which would be a longer section of text. Now, whenever you're quoting like long pieces of text like passages, I would definitely put the page numbers next to it. It's also totally okay to paraphrase, to shorten it, because you don't want to waste your time writing down, paragraphs upon paragraphs of things that are important or interesting to you, when you can just reference the page number and have that marked down. Interesting language, so anything that you think stands out or is important for some reason, you want to keep on this side so you can have that for easy reference. Again, definitely include the page number. Same for quotations. Page number, page number, page number. Quotations are going to be super helpful to include in your annotations, because whenever you produce your podcast and your manifesto, you will be required to use evidence from the revolutions we've studied. And so if you keep track of all of important quotations, this could be a really, really great resource for you moving forward. Key events, main ideas, problems and conflicts, critical facts. These last four are more about making sure that you made sense of the story and that you got the gist of everything that was going on within the text. If you have questions or you're not sure about something, that's when we move over to the from your mind category, right? So this is a place where you can write questions you may have about the text, things that you're not sure about, discussion questions moving forward whenever we start having our Socratic circles. Going back up to the top, the from your mind category, this is where you can put your reactions to the text, what you thought about it, what it makes you think of, your initial reactions to the text. So this doesn't have to be super long, or it can be super long, this is for your benefit. Do what works for you. You can include theories or hypotheses about the text. You can make comparisons or connections between the text and other things that you have read or watched or listened to. You can include explanations. So if there are things that you are not sure about that happened in the text and you find out about it later, you can come over here and write, hey, you can give yourself a little explanation for what you're confused about. This is also a place where you can have discussions of significance and discussion of reactions to the text. Now, for our purposes, this is probably going to be more in terms of Socratic circles. So after we have discussions amongst your peers and with your facilitators, this is where you can come back to your annotations and make notes based on those discussions, so you have a record of that. As I said before, do this in a way that makes sense to you. If you prefer to write out the passages or the quotes in their entirety, then go for it. That's awesome. If mine works better if you paraphrase things and make them a little bit shorter, then do that. There's really no wrong way to do this, other than doing it in a way that will not be useful to you in the future. So just to give you guys a really quick look at what it looks like whenever you fill out a dialectic journal like the one we've talked about, I'm going to have us look at a very, very academic article about ice cream. So this article is from the New York Times, and its title is, I'm going to set this at the bottom just so it can still be seen by you guys, The ice cream sundae must be stopped. So I've got the title up at the top so I know what I'm talking about whenever I look at this later, like 2 weeks from now. And I've got from the text on the left and from my mind is on the right. Now, whenever I read and annotate documents, I prefer to read the article in its entirety first before I start working on my dialectic journal. So whenever I read it, I'm going through, I'm making stars, I'm writing question marks, I'm underlining things, I'm highlighting things that seem important or stand out, so I can have an easy thing to reference when I go back and create my dialectic journal. Now, if you found that you can keep a dialectic journal and read it at the same time, that's great. Like I said before, do what works for you. I'm just letting you know this is the way I prefer to do it. So just to give you guys a few examples from the text. Sundays are popping up everywhere in New York City restaurants. So that's from page 1, so I know where to reference it. And that's, you don't have to put main idea. If you want to, that's fine. But that's like one of the main ideas from that text. And the author is very, very upset about this for some reason. One of the quotes I thought was interesting, dessert was put on this planet to surprise us. I've never thought about dessert that way, I thought dessert was here to make us happy, but, whatever. A couple other main ideas, problems, conflicts, restaurants are struggling, and ice cream is a really easy dessert to fix. Another quote that I thought stood out, what kind of sociopath complains about ice cream? Page 4, which brings to from my mind, I disagree with the author because she's really upset about sundaes, I think sundaes rock. So that's my reaction to this text. And I am hypothesizing that she had a bad experience with ice cream or sundaes or chocolate as a child, and that's why she's harboring all this anger about sundaes being terrible. A question I have, is there actually demand for ice cream? Is there financial, or is it just financial incentive for restaurants to save money by saving ice cream? And discussion of significance. This matters because fewer trained pastry chefs are being hired in New York City restaurants. So this is just a really brief, kind of silly example of how to do dialectic journals. If you feel like you still need help, come talk to one of your facilitators and we will be more than happy to give you more information on the matter. Thank you.